America pays more for prescription drugs than any other country on earth. Sometimes 5 to 10 times more. Until now. On May 12th, Donald Trump signed what he calls one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history, targeting sky-high drug prices.
For years, pharmaceutical and drug companies have said that research and development costs were what they are. For no reason whatsoever, they had to be borne by America alone. Not anymore, they don't. This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany.
This order directs pharmaceutical companies to bring down prices to match what other developed nations pay. If they don't, tariffs, import controls, middlemen eliminated, and worst of all for Pharma, possible revocation of FDA approvals.
Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries.
The goal is for drug prices to be slashed by 30 to 90%. Trump claims Americans could soon pay what patients in Sweden, Japan, or the United Kingdom pay. He even cited a friend's story. A weight loss injection costs $88 in London, but in the US, it costs $1,300.
The United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries.
Trump's policy forces drug makers to match the lowest international price across all markets, not just Medicare. It revives his 2020 proposal, which was blocked by courts. Now it returns with broader scope, sharper teeth, and a deadline. 30 days to submit price targets and 6 months to show significant progress.
And if necessary, we'll investigate the drug companies and we'll, in particular, investigate the countries that are doing this, and we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it onto tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize, everybody should pay the same price. And special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people.
Pharmaceutical giants are not panicking yet. After initial stock dips, shares of Pfizer, Merck, Eli Lilly and others actually rebounded. Analysts say the plan may be more bark than bite. Trump's most favored nation model stretches the boundaries of executive power. Lawyers say it likely exceeds US law on imports and pricing control. Lawsuits are expected, and Congress hasn't touched this. Another Trump move, cutting out the middleman. These pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs, sit between manufacturers and insurers. Trump wants to bypass them and let Americans buy drugs directly at the global rate.
To accelerate these price restrictions and reductions, my administration will also cut out the middlemen. We're going to totally cut out the famous middlemen. Nobody knows who they are, middlemen. I've been hearing the term for 25 years, middlemen. I don't know who they are, but they're rich. That I can tell you.
Trump also wants to open the doors to importing cheaper drugs, especially from Canada. And if foreign governments continue demanding low prices from Pharma, he threatens to raise tariffs on their exports. The EU, in his words, has been brutal.
The European Union has been brutal. The European Union is in many ways nastier than China.
A 2022 federal study found United States prices were 2.78 times higher across all drugs and 3.22% higher for brand name medicines compared to other rich nations. The total bill, over $400 billion per year. The industry's biggest players have blasted the plan. But Trump's message is clear. Americans are done being the world's ATM for drug companies.
This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty.
Analysts say implementation won't be easy. Many drugs sold in the United States aren't sold abroad. Other countries don't always disclose prices, and US drug pricing happens through private players, not a single government body. Without congressional legislation, most of this could collapse in court just like it did in 2020. This may be Trump's loudest move yet on healthcare. It checks multiple boxes: inflation control, foreign policy pressure, America First economics. But will Americans actually pay less for their meds? That depends. Not just on Trump's will, but also on Big Pharma's muscle, the courts, and how fast the system bends.